What's up? We are back and we're going to try this again. We have had a rough go with the internet. So this will be the third episode of Talking Nonsense. We tried this last weekend and
Failed.
just no go.
Did not work out.
Ever since I had Dallas on here, and we barely got it to work that night and still missed half of what we talked about, but we did have Strata come back, make some adjustments, and me and Dally recorded our other podcast earlier today, and it worked great. So I'm hoping it does it again, because it's super frustrating when it quits when you get going for 10, 15, 30 minutes. But so far so good. So we're going to go with it and see what happens. So I had a couple of people ask why there wasn't an episode last week, which is kind of cool because that lets me know that some people are looking for it and listening. But that's the reason. The internet, it just would not upload. The speeds were way too slow and it wouldn't stay connected. So actually Dallas texted me and asked if he shut the podcast down. And I said, what do you mean? And that's what he said. He's like, well, I couldn't find your episode from last week. But I actually had a lot of good feedback on that episode. A lot of people saying that they really liked it. It was good listening to. And I've had a few people tell me I need to have him on again. So I told him that night that I'd like to do it again. So I'm sure sometime here in the future he will be back on here and we'll either continue on the path we were on or find something else. So
He was a great listen.
but anyway, with that being said, we don't have a lot of preparation going into this one because we weren't quite sure when the internet was going to be able to handle it again. So this one's just kind of randomly, quickly put together, I guess you could put it. Something that we started to talk about last weekend, and I guess we can just kind of go with that again to get going. It was something that I had heard on a podcast that I listened to. They were talking about it, and it was just kind of having the ability to just have a conversation about really anything. How a lot of people just don't really talk anymore about literally anything. It's more of everybody's stuck in their phones or their computers or their whatever it is, TV shows, something like that. There's a lot of scrolling and not a lot of talking. And so I think, me personally, I think that's kind of one problem that is, I don't know about the world because I don't travel the world, but from what I see just in our country is just people not talking anymore. And if they do talk, it's just arguing and fighting and the classic name calling of people that disagree, and it's all quite stupid. But I think it might stem back to just not being able to talk to each other at all in any kind of positive form. So, and that could be whether it's relationship talks or life talks, work talks, even politic talks. You know, we mentioned before in the one that you and I did a few weeks ago, politics is a big one because there's a lot of people that if you don't agree with everything, they don't want to talk to you, or you're wrong, or it just turns into a freaking mess.
Turns into a defensive.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody has to go on defense for some reason. And you know, when I try to come up with stuff to talk about to do this, I always scroll through a little bit of social media and just kind of see what's going on, and it makes it really hard because the only thing that I can ever find on mine is politics. And to be honest with you, I really almost don't even care anymore because I feel like it just changes my attitude and makes things go negative. And that's the reason that I quit going on Facebook, is because I just get tired of seeing never anything positive or happy or funny or anything. It's always about Trump did this, or the Democrats did that, or these guys are doing this. And God, it's so just I don't even know the word for it. It's
draining.
it's a drag. Yeah, it's draining, and it's so frustrating. And I actually, Instagram's about the only thing I go on anymore, and I don't even go on it a whole lot. Mainly just when you guys send me videos, I go on to watch it, and then I find myself scrolling for a few minutes. But there's a guy, he's down in St. George, and I don't know his name, but I kind of, when the whole Charlie Kirk thing happened, I found him on there somehow. He must have just come across my feed or something, and I ended up following him just to kind of see. I was curious what he talks about. I think he's an ex-cop, if I remember right. But I watched a video of his today, or yesterday, one of the 2 days, and it was talking about how Trump had made 2 posts on, what is it, Truth Social, the one that he created or whatever it is, and I don't remember what the post said. One of them was, I thought it was stupid. It started out with like Merry Christmas, but then he went on this whole rant about even to the disgusting people, or whatever word he used. Anyway, it was just a big rant. And then the other one was kind of a follow-up, and I don't remember what it said either, but he was asking, if this were a Democrat in the presidency right now, every Republican or conservative or right-wing or whatever you want to call them would be calling him out on everything. All of these posts, that'd be, how is this allowed to happen, whatever they might say. And he's asking, why are the Republicans, conservatives, and that side, why are they not asking questions about some of the stuff that maybe he's saying, or anyway. But anyway, I guess where I'm going with this is I feel like that guy, and it's okay because this must be what he wants to do, but I feel like that kind of stuff consumes every bit of his time, because he does a lot of videos. He's always doing anywhere from 30-second videos to 4 or 5 minute videos about stuff like this. And I thought about it when I watched it. I'm like, man, maybe it's just me, but I really think that I would be miserable if I just did nothing but kind of focus on all of that all the time. And I sit and wonder, is that why it seems like nobody's happy? Because too many people, that's all they do. That consumes all their time, is trying to keep up on whatever might be happening in our own politics, or the Middle East is a huge topic. So I just feel like if people, I don't know, I kind of wish in a way, like, it's good to know what's going on, but there's so many different angles of everything that do we really know what's going on, even though we're watching whatever or whoever we're watching. And I think it would be really cool if everybody just stopped paying attention to it and just lived a normal life. And at the end of the day, whatever these guys are talking about, or whatever they're telling us that this guy's doing or that guy's doing, we can't do anything about it. It's pretty obvious that there's, I hear numbers sometimes of 200 to 300 people that's basically running the whole world. And there's, I don't know what the world population is, billions or something. And I mean, it's true, but they all keep saying we need to use our voice, we need to stand up, we need to speak up, and all this. Well, why? It doesn't do any good. And maybe that's just me being negative about it. And you have seen some changes with a few things of people are starting to get a little bit better on certain issues and topics and stuff. But until there's a massive cleanup of the people in charge, there's really nothing we can do about it. And so maybe I've just got to the point to where I'm like, is it really good for me to listen to all this and
consume all the negativity?
Yeah, and know what's going on, because I don't know all the stuff I listen to. I know a couple of the guys I listen to, I've mentioned them before, and I tend to believe what they say. They're usually right on a lot of the stuff they're talking about, and I say that because what they talk about, within a short amount of time after, there will be stuff come up that it's like, oh yeah, that what he did say, that is, or we think it's true, I guess. That kind of goes back to what I'm saying. Do we really know? But anyway, I would like to see people just maybe kind of steer away from it a little, because I think that's one thing. I know there's people that get so deep into it on either side that they're just miserable, and I just don't see that making things better for anybody. One of the guys is always talking about personal excellence and getting your mind right as far as life goes, and being the person you're supposed to be and finding your purpose. Man, I find it hard to find a purpose when that's all that if that's all that I look at and all that I listen to and all, because it makes you not even really, or else I guess I'll speak for myself. It makes me feel like, well, why do I care if I even have a purpose? Because we're living in a crap tank right now anyway, so what's the big deal? But as soon as I get away from it and go a while without listening or watching or anything, I don't really feel that way anymore.
You focus on your own life.
Yeah.
And the good things or bad if it may be.
Well, yeah, just not freaking politics.
Yeah.
Like I've followed it pretty close for the last, I would say, probably 15 or 20 years. Well, not 20. I was out of high school for a little bit, maybe 15 years. But it's just gotten worse and worse every single year. And there really doesn't seem to be any good ending in sight, so...
Or any ending.
Yeah, so I think I'm at that point to where I'm just like, screw it. I'm kind of over it, and whatever happens is going to happen, I guess, but...
Seems like everything is a distraction from something else, and that's a distraction from something else as well, so whatever.
And there's just never any truth about anything that they're telling us, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle it's on. I feel like none of them.
And even now with the third evil of AI, in my opinion.
With the what?
Third evil of
You're kind of quiet. You might need to speak up a little bit.
Yeah, AI I think is also going to make everyone question.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of AI because I don't think it's going to be used for the good purposes that it could be used for. I'm sure it will on a small scale, but things like, you've seen some of the AI stuff. Well, you've had to tell me before that's AI. Like, you were able to notice it, but I wasn't. And a couple of the things after you kind of showed me, well, look at this, that I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's clearly not real. But I don't think a lot of people dig into it that much. They kind of see it and they're like, oh my gosh, did you see that? And then it just kind of, they just run with it, But there was one, speaking of AI, because I think AI's been around for a lot longer than what they're telling us. But I did see something the other day. It was kind of crazy. It was talking about the JFK assassination. And the picture, one of the pictures that, and it's on the internet, you can find it, because after I saw the video of that lady, I Googled it, and you can find it. But you can find the one she's talking about, I guess, because, again, AI, so who knows. But anyway, the so-called original picture that was released, most people don't see it because it's in the background, and it's the main focus of the picture is JFK in the car, or I think it was in the car. Anyway, it was right there where it happened, and the tree in the background there's only half a tree. Like, the trunk doesn't even go all the way to the ground. Then they show a picture that's supposed to be the real picture, and her talking about the tree. Now I can't even remember what the actual picture was most people were seeing. But there was another picture of the tree going all the way to the ground, like a normal actual picture, which is supposedly the real one. But when you see that, because this happened 60-something years ago, so if that's the case, I mean, they could be doctoring it up now.
Yeah, those 60 years of time to do whatever.
Right, but I really think that AI has been out for longer than what they're telling us. And again, I don't really care. Like, that's another thing. What are we going to do about AI? I'm not smart enough to do anything about it. I mean, I'm just going to have to, I guess, adjust and adapt to whatever AI might bring or might not bring. I kind of, sometimes I wonder if I have the wrong attitude towards things, and it's not really a negative attitude or anything like that. I just have kind of just come to the conclusion that all I can do is what I can do, and that's basically just in my daily life, making sure that what I'm supposed to do, I'm doing, as far as providing the support that I can for the family and just enjoying my time with you guys and with friends and my immediate family, your family, which, speaking of, we finally got to go see them, and it had been a while, so that was nice. But yeah, it's hard to know what they're going to do with it and how they're going to use it and whether it's positive or not. I don't know. And that's another thing for me too, why I don't want to spend a lot of time on social media, because you see a lot of that stuff and then all you do is sit and wonder, God, is that real?
Oh yeah, and it lives rent free in your mind for a week.
And for me, I'm almost like, I don't really care if it's real. I'd rather not even know.
Yeah.
I'd rather not. And it's hard too, because where we live, like, all the stuff you see is in some of these bigger major cities. And even in Salt Lake, yeah, there's some crazy things that have happened in Salt Lake over the past few years, but you always hear about how things are so bad in certain areas. And I think it's hard for me to wrap my head around that, because being here in Utah, I don't think we have a lot of the problems that other places do, and if we do, we just don't see them.
Yeah, there was a study done or whatever, they ranked all the states of like the crime levels.
Mm-hmm.
Utah was almost at the very bottom.
Well, see, and obviously we have crime here. I mean, you do see some of it, but some of these places, like, Chicago, LA, some of these bigger cities, it is, if what we're seeing is real, it is 24/7 chaos.
All the time.
Everywhere, all the time. And I'm just, every time I see that, I'm like, is this really how it is? And, and part of that's because I haven't traveled a lot, I mean, I've been to a few places. I've been to Washington, D.C. when I was in high school. We went to Louisville, Kentucky. And that's kind of, other than our surrounding states, obviously I've been to Wyoming, Idaho, Colorado, Nevada. Never been to California. And at this point, I really don't care to go to California. But, so my travel has not been extensive.
Yeah, not really.
But I kind of don't want it to be either, because if that's really how these places are, I don't want any part of it. I'd rather stay right here where I'm at and never see any of it and just live out whatever time we have to live out. And I feel like that also is maybe why I have the mindset I have, is because I don't see a lot of this crap right in front of me.
Yeah.
So maybe part of me is trying to say that it's not real, or maybe denying that it's real. And I'm sure some of it is, and I feel bad for the people that have to deal with it. But I don't know, it's just, I kind of just want to just stick to myself. I mean, sometimes people ask you, like, I've been asked a few times, what are you doing for New Year's? And we found out, obviously, we're not doing anything, because you do have to work on New Year's Day. But even if you didn't have to work, I really don't even know if I'd even want to do anything. Yeah. Last year we went to Evanston, or I guess not Evanston, Bear River, to Riley and Megan's, and that was a lot of fun. I love spending time with those guys. But at the same time, if I didn't go anywhere and just stayed home, I really wouldn't even care, because I kind of just don't even like to.
Just as happy.
Yeah, like, I'm not a hermit. I do like to BS with people and just socialize and stuff, but I'm not like depressed or sad or miserable if I don't. Like, I can just come and sit here and be just fine. So I mean, I've told you a bunch of times I could sit outside and watch the chickens in the backyard and be totally satisfied. Like, I don't know if that says a lot for me, but
And the frogs in the summer.
yeah,
oh
but
my
that's like I'm just
gosh.
totally content with doing that kind of stuff. So,
It's the best.
but anyway, we also talked about maybe, kind of going back to the not having a conversation. We decided to look up just some random, like, conversation topics, I guess, just to kind of see what was out there. And there's quite a list of questions on this one page that we did pull up. Some of them are, I thought, quite dumb, but maybe to others they're not. So we kind of thought it might be fun just to read a few of those and give our thoughts on it, and just kind of answer how we feel about it. So
I have one.
okay, if you
Okay.
have one, let's go ahead and start with that then.
Does doing a bad deed make someone a bad person?
I saw that one just before we started when I was scrolling. I saw that
I
one.
like that question.
What do you think?
I think there's levels. There's definitely levels,
Yeah.
and I think it does also, like at the end of the day, wind down to what their intention was.
Yeah. And I guess, kind of like you, it kind of depends on the bad deed, I guess.
I can't even think of a bad deed.
Well, I'm trying to think, because you have like the extreme bad, but I don't know. It's something that Dallas mentioned when I had him on here is, it's what's in a person's heart. And so I think if a person has a good heart and they have the right intentions, I don't know that a person like that is really going to I want to say not do a bad deed, because we all do things that, we probably shouldn't. But that's another thing, like, should we have not done that, or was that bad to do that? Like, what is a bad deed?
Yeah.
I mean, technically lying could be a bad deed, which lying's never a good thing. Sometimes people, we've all done it, maybe stretch the truth just a little bit to try to ease the situation, maybe.
Yeah, a little white lie.
And sometimes in something like that, I don't think that would make a person a bad person, because maybe what they are lying about, or the white lie, or whatever you want to call it, it could prevent a much worse situation. So maybe something like that, I don't think that makes someone a bad person. But a bad deed, if you want to go on the extreme level,
I do.
let's say killing someone. If you just go out and kill someone just because, or out of
Or if it was out of spite.
that's what I was trying to look for, out of spite, then obviously I think that makes you a bad person, because if you can't get over whatever this person did that pissed you off that bad that you have to go and kill somebody, you're not a good person. You can get into the whole self-defense thing, which that's not killing someone out of spite, but I'll bet you can't find a single person that's had to do that out of self-defense that's happy about it.
So, well, let me tell you about this lady that was out in Salt Lake County somewhere just over this whole week. She had stabbed her boyfriend after she allegedly stabbed her boyfriend after she found out that he also allegedly was having relationships with her niece, who was like 11 to 13. He was found dead on the sidewalk over Christmas.
Oh, I saw something in West Valley.
So how do we feel about that? I feel like that doesn't necessarily make her a bad person,
Well,
but I want to make sure that it would be true first.
That's
right?
just it. If if the allegations are true, I don't. Some people could look at it this way, as it's not her job.
Yeah, right.
To, I guess, play God in a sense. I understand if that's really what happened. I understand her feeling the way she probably felt. I mean, if the girl's only 12 or 13, I can understand that. And that's a situation that I think is easy to sit here and talk about.
But until you're in it.
But if you're in that situation, and if you're certain that something like that has been happening, who's to say we all wouldn't react the same way? I don't know. That's a tough one.
It is.
I mean, do you classify her as a bad person or
a vigilante?
Yeah, I don't know. That one's kind of tough, but like I said, some people might look at it as, and you don't have to be super religious to think this way, but it's not her job to play God to take someone else's life. I don't know. That's kind of a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know, even putting myself into that lady's position, having to make that choice to take someone's life for doing that. That's pretty big.
But that's, like I said, if you're never in that situation, it's probably pretty easy to sit here and talk about it, because that's just one of those things that, I mean, who knows, like human instinct could have just kicked in, and I don't know.
Yeah, seeing red, I'm sure, is not something a lot of people
Well, and I think
can
a
get
lot of
past.
people, especially adults, that, again, have the right intentions in their heart, they don't want anything bad to happen to a child.
Right.
I mean, they just don't. It doesn't even have to be your own child. Even if it wasn't her niece. I mean, nobody with a good heart wants any harm on a child. Even if you don't know the child. You hear stories about trafficking and stuff from places that aren't even close to us. And it still hits you, because it's a child.
Yeah,
So,
makes your chest tight.
So yeah, I think it kind of, maybe something like that, maybe it could depend on the so-called bad deed. Like how bad was the deed? What did they do? So
I would agree with that. So next question I saw, and we actually talked this on the one that we tried last week, but I want to revisit it because we did not get to go in depth. Is it okay to lie?
Well, we kind of just talked about that a little bit.
A little bit, but what about on a white lie all the way up to a bold-faced lie? Like, I can't even think of a lie.
Well, I think it's like we said before with a white lie, maybe depending on the situation. There's not a parent out there that celebrates certain holidays that's never been involved in that. The white lie.
Yeah.
So that I think most people have no issue with something like that. But if you're talking about a flat out lie, I've known people in the past that have done that, and the ones that they're telling the lie to know for certain that it's a lie, but the person insists on sticking with it. And in those situations, the lie was never anything that was going to cause any harm on anybody. So for me, I just thought it made the person look like an idiot, and kind of didn't even want to be around somebody like that. Like I said, the lie was not going to lead to any kind of harm or injury or or anything like that, but it was just like I have no desire to even be around a person that is so dead set on what they're saying, even though they probably know that we know it's not true. You know, and I don't remember the subjects or anything. I just know I've dealt with it before, and I just feel like lying usually never benefits you.
Oh, no, it never does.
So it seems like lies stack up on lies.
And then, yeah, you have to remember those lies.
And then pretty soon your lies start to contradict themselves. And then it's obvious that you're full of crap because you run out of lies eventually, I think, that keep the story going, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually something's going to come up because you're still just digging and you're going to expose the whole thing. But
have to backtrack constantly.
And I know, like, you know, again, I can't think of anything in particular, but I know when I was younger, I remember feeling after I had lied about something, I, like, felt like crap, but then I was, like, ashamed to say, hey, that wasn't true. So not only do I think some people change their whole perspective of you, but I think you kind of change your perspective of yourself too. You kind of start to feel like crap,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because you know you lied, and it just, or for me anyway. I mean, I've always tried to not lie, but you know I have.
Have you ever been called out for those lies? No,
Not-
just by yourself with your guilt.
Not that I can remember. Somebody out there might remember something. I don't
They're
know, but
probably screaming at their freaking speakers like, "You lied to me."
but right now I can't think of anything. But I know that the times that I did lie about something, it just made me feel like crap, made me feel stupid, and so I just would rather not. You know, I mean, like we said, it doesn't get you anywhere.
Is withholding the truth or all the details not being spilled, does that count as lying?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it could. What do you think?
I think it is. I think that is lying. Because if you can't go back home and say, hey, I did all of these things, and you have to leave X, Y, and Z out because you think someone will be mad or someone got hurt, something like that, I think that's stepping into the lie era.
That makes sense. I think I can agree with you on that. Yeah, that makes sense. But maybe it could depend on what kind of information you're withholding.
Ooh, maybe.
You know, I mean, kind of like back to the last question, maybe by withholding some information could prevent a much worse situation. You know, I don't know. Like, what do you do if you know somebody's doing something, but you don't tell someone else that should know, or some, I don't know, where am I trying to go with this? I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe it could depend on what kind of information you're withholding. I don't know.
I think you're right.
I think luckily I don't think I've been in that position, so I don't.
Same. I don't generally get in a position where I have to lie
Yeah.
in the first place anyway.
Well, and usually if it's something that's involving that, because you know me, I can't stand
You
drama.
can't not tell the truth.
Well, and I just can't stand drama. So like, if I feel like something's going in that direction, I'm probably just gonna leave. Because to me, it's just not worth it. It's stupid. I'd rather watch the grass grow than be involved in
Protect
drama.
the peace.
Yeah.
Anything to protect the peace.
Right.
Honestly. We're chill people around here.
Try to be anyway.
Alright, let's see if we can find... Oh, do you believe in coincidences? I don't think that's... I think they're meant to be.
Well, we just talked about this last night, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
There's one saying that I say I hate it, but I don't know if I hate it. I think it's just something that...
We love to hate it.
Yeah, like it's, everything happens for a reason. Which, this is going to make it sound like I'm trying to pretend that I'm old, but the older that I get, you kind of... kind of just lost my train of thought there on that one.
Oh no.
You said something that made me start off on that, and then I completely lost it.
Oh, how you're getting old?
No, not that. That's what I said. It was
Oh.
something you said. What was the question again?
Do you believe in coincidences?
Oh yeah, the whole everything happens for a reason. Usually when when I have something in my sights, or something that maybe I want, or want to achieve, or something like that, and it doesn't happen, then obviously right off the bat you're like, are you freaking kidding me? Why can't this just happen? And it's hard to understand for a while that there's most likely a reason for that. That's where I was going with it. The more that's happened to me in my life, and like I said, as the older I get and more things happen, it's kind of, I don't know if easier is the right word, but maybe I can accept it a little more, that okay, there's obviously a reason. I don't know the reason. I wish I did. But anything like in the past, maybe a job that I wanted, or so. Well, I tried to get on at Newfield for 7 years, and I knew a lot of people that worked at Newfield, and every time I would not get it, I'm just like, are you kidding me? And it was always like, well, you just don't quite have the experience, and I knew people that were getting hired on that had the same experience as me, which was zero. And so I was just like, what the heck, why? And that's people, oh, it happens for a reason. I'm like, that's BS. It's not, it's stupid. But whether it's a job or whatever it is you're trying to achieve or get, it does get a little easier for me to just kind of think about it and be like, well, there's obviously a reason. It sucks. That would have been great, or that would have helped, or whatever it might be, but I guess you just kind of have to accept the fact that there's a reason for it. And
It's kind of like, hey, my turn is coming.
yeah.
And it might not look the same.
Or maybe my turn has already came.
Oh,
maybe
no,
maybe
yeah.
where I'm at is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Or not just me in particular, but when I say me, I'm just speaking as a person. Maybe whatever we're doing, or wherever we are, maybe that's where we're supposed to be. And maybe bigger things are coming where we're at, and what we're doing. But I don't know. I really haven't thought a lot about do you believe in coincidences? Because I don't know. There's a lot of people that don't say there are no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason, and maybe that's true, because there have been times, just with us in our relationship, that I know right off the bat, we're like, why? But then later you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Because now this is happening, or now we did this, or whatever. So I don't know.
Seems like things always work out.
Yeah, and I'm trying to not get wrapped up in things like that anymore, and I'm trying to just, if something doesn't go the way I was hoping it would, I honestly just try to forget about it and just move on because I can't change it, and
I'll give myself a moment to be like, all right, dang, that sucked.
yeah.
But then you just move on.
Well, and I think
'Cause
that's
what
fine.
else can you do?
Yeah, I think that's fine to kind of be bummed or irritated or maybe even a little upset or whatever, but yeah, I don't stew on it anymore because again, there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to move
Change
on
plans.
and it's not like, especially now, like it's not like we are in a bad spot.
No.
Like just us speaking for us, I think what we have is pretty dang good. I mean, we are here in Tabby. I love it for multiple reasons. It's quiet. It's my home, so obviously I'm gonna love it. But I'm just I don't want to say I'm content because I think we always kind of want a little more or a little better or kind of like the personal excellence I mentioned before. That's something I really struggle with because I know the things that I need to do, but it is so damn hard to do it. Like when we did 75 hard,
Oh, yeah.
if some of you don't know what that is, Andy Frisilla created a 75 hard, and it's 75 days of 5 different things.
I think it is
There's
5.
You have to do 2 45-minute workouts.
One must be outside.
One has to be outside, and they have to be
Separate.
like I can't remember the number.
Almost like an hour apart.
No, it's more than that. I want to say like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh.
They have to be apart because the reason for that is when you do your first 45-minute workout, it's a little easier to come back after an hour and do another one. But when you've gone 4 or 5 hours, you're like, I do not want to do another dang workout. It's harder to make yourself do it. But there's those two. You have to drink a gallon of water every day, which is a lot harder than you'd think it would be. For me, it was anyway. Another hard one for me is you have to read 10 pages every day, and it's supposed to be something that is like something that you can learn from. No specific topic or anything, but just something you can learn from. And I'm not much of a reader, so that one was pretty tough for me. I did read a book. What's it called? The Reaper.
Oh.
He was a sniper in the. Here, I just told you I read the book, and now I can't remember what branch he was in the military. But that's the first book I've read in a long time, since 13 Hours, when that was the movie and everything came out. I did go buy that book and read that, but I've just never been much of a reader. And that book, honestly, isn't really something educational, I guess, but I don't own books, so it was kind of like just read what I have. The other one that you have to do is pick a diet, any diet, and just kind of stick to it. And I think...
You have to take your progress picture.
Oh yeah, you'd have to take a progress picture every day, every single day. And if you don't do one of these tasks in that day, then you have to start back over at day 1. So it doesn't matter if you're at day 10, day 40, day 74. If on day 74 you forget to do one of those things, you have to start back over at day 1. And I know we were at about, I want to say in the 50s somewhere. I can't, we didn't get home until late. I don't know where we had been, but it was in August, because I remember, so it was about 11:30, and we hadn't done our second workout yet, so we got changed into our clothes and went and did our walk. And I remember thinking, this is stupid, but at the same time I'm not going to fail this, because I had thought about this 75 hard for months. And it's not a weight loss program. You know, when people hear about the pick a diet and do the 2 workouts and stuff, like, yeah, obviously you lose weight, which I did, and I was grateful. But it's more of a mental toughness program. Well, it is a mental toughness program. That's what he classifies it as. But where I was going with that is, when we started that program, you know, it was tough for like the first week or 2, and then it kind of got a little easier. But then, like, it seemed like the last 15 days were like 15 months. I mean, it just seemed like it was never going to end. But when we finished, I was really glad that we did. And I've done multiple things over the years to try to lose some weight, and it just never works. But this one, it actually did. I was, what was it, 31
I think
pounds
so.
that I lost?
Yeah.
But now, I've freaking gained 10 of it back.
Thanks a lot, Christmas season.
I don't even think it was that.
It
Because
was for me.
we haven't changed the way that we eat.
I have.
Well, I guess maybe we have a little bit, but not in a dramatic fashion. But I've been telling myself now for like a week that I've got to start doing some exercises again, even if it's just 1 a day.
Yeah.
But I'll be damned if I can get myself to do it.
The hardest part is just getting started.
That's the hardest thing that I struggle with, is, like, I keep telling myself I don't really have the time. Well, I do have the time. But it always comes back to, like, when I get home from work, I'm freaking tired. You know, like, I'm just, it's been a day. I mean, yeah, my job's pretty easy. I drive a cement truck, so it's not like I hard labor all day, but it's just, you get home, you've been at work for, whether it's 8, 10, 12 hours, and you're just, you want to relax, you know. And I know it's not just me, because I have this talk with a lot of people, and everybody says the same thing. They just want to relax when they get home. But what's crazy is, when we did that 75 hard, I had energy all day. You know, like, I'd get home from work, and I wasn't just like, oh, I just want to sit on the couch. I was...
You had a bit more get up and go.
Yeah, I just kind of felt like, hey, I'm good. You know, I don't... You know, like, we built the chicken coop. Other things outside. It was never like, I'm just done. I'm going to go in. I'm done. But now I'm falling back into that, to where I feel like I have no energy. And I need to start these exercises again. But like I said, I cannot get myself to do it. Just the other night, it was Friday. I was like, alright, I'm going to get up in the morning and just go out in the garage on the treadmill for 30, 40 minutes. Alarm went off. I shut it off. Didn't even think about it. And then at about 10 o'clock, I was like, well, so much for that. I really wanted to go do that, but I didn't do it. And the 75 hard, when we did that, I think what was easier for me is having you there doing it with me. So if you could see that I was just kind of really not feeling it, you were like, well, let's go. We're going.
Yeah, let's go.
And there was a couple of nights where I, you know, I'd tell you, all right, we need to go. Like, let's go get this walk done. And what's stupid...
I'm a complainer. And all the way to the road, I was like, I don't want to do this.
I would too, but you know what's funny is, when we would get back, like coming back into our driveway, both of us would be like, I'm glad we did that.
Yeah.
So, like...
I've never regretted a workout.
What bugs me about it is, I know how much better I felt when we were doing that. So why can't I just get myself to, even if I don't do the 75 hard, even if I just do at least 1 exercise a day, why is it so hard for me to go and do that, knowing how much better I felt when we were doing it?
That's a mental disease.
Well, and I don't know if it's mental. Like, I'm going to go down something here too, and I'm not saying that I have this, but I read a lot about it. Apparently there's a big issue with a lot of people having parasites. And again, I'm not saying I have parasites. I'm not looking for excuses here, but kind of from what I've been reading, is one of the, I guess you'd call it side effects if you have parasites, is lack of energy.
Oh.
And I don't know, because like I said, when we did 75 hard, I didn't really feel that lack of energy. But I cannot find energy. And I don't know if it's that I just need to get that one time to go do that workout to get that energy to come back. But I just can't seem to do it. And I don't know.
I think that might be the case. You just have to force yourself. Maybe that's when you should read or listen to Mel Robbins about the 5-second rule.
Who?
Mel Robbins.
Well, I know the 5-second rule.
What is the 5-second rule to
If you drop your bite of dinner on the floor, you got 5 seconds to pick it up and eat it.
No.
Oh. That's not the 5-second rule?
No.
Oh.
The 5-second rule is you count down.
Oh, well, you do. You drop it down, you're like, crap, 5, 4, 3. Got to pick it up and eat it or it's gone.
No way. So close, though.
Okay.
So it's you're tricking your mind into counting down, and then a takeoff. You gotta go do it. You know? So imagine like a rocket. If I remember her book right, she describes a rocket taking off, and they count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can't do 10 seconds. It's far too long. Because halfway through, you can convince yourself, I'm okay.
Yeah.
5 seconds. That's not. It's too short to talk yourself out of it, and the brain just reacts naturally to that trigger.
So you're saying that when I'm telling myself I need to go out in the garage, I need to just do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
And you get your butt up.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't.
Miss Mel.
I mean, it can't be any worse at this point, so
Yeah.
I'll have to give that a shot. I haven't heard of that before.
And something else I like to do, because I am a repeat offender of procrastination, I will schedule it in my mind. All right, if not now, then when?
Well, that's the thing. Andy, that did the 75 hard, he says that all the time. If not now, then when? How many times have you told yourself, I'm going to do it tomorrow, or I'm going to start tomorrow morning? How many times have you said that? And he gets pretty wound up about it, but he's passionate about it. So he uses language that I'm not going to use on here, but he's like, basically just grow a set and do it.
Yeah.
Like, do it.
Well,
Quit
at some
telling
point
yourself.
You have to get sick of your own crap.
I
right?
do.
So
I do, but I still can't seem to go make it happen.
What got me, I finally had this realization. I was like, there's no one else that can do this for me. There's only one person who can do it, and that's me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm responsible for my own actions and how I look and everything like that. So I had to take it in my own hands.
Well, and you know, another thing with me, like when I'm at work, I'll think about this stuff all the time. Like, all right, I really do want to do it. I really want to start this exercise today. And I'm all for it. Like, I am 100% in. And as soon as I get home, I'm like, it's not even on my mind. So when I'm somewhere that I literally can't just start an exercise or a workout, I'm all for it. And I know that's like my mind playing tricks on me, because as soon as I get home to where I can go do it, it's the last thing on my mind.
That's really funny, actually.
It's stupid. But I got to figure out how to just go do it. Because, and this is going to sound stupid too, but I really don't want to do 75 hard again.
Are we about to in the dead of winter? It's
not that it was too hard to do. I just don't want to. And I don't really know why. But because I know...
It's almost like you need the accountability.
Well, that's it. I know it has positive things that come from it. But I don't know if it's like... Oh, the other thing we forgot to mention, which I've talked to several people and told them they should do it, but they're like, once I tell them this one thing that you can't do, they're like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. There's no alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know.
That's easy for us because we don't drink.
If you're a drinker or whatever, even if you just like to have a drink on the weekends or something, You can't, there's zero alcohol. So if you have one sip of anything, you restart at day one. But yeah, I mean, that wasn't hard for me because I don't drink anymore. And it's not, that was easy. But I don't know. I got to figure out how to just get over that hump again and just go and start doing it. Like I said, at least one exercise a day would be great.
Yeah.
And if I do it, I know that I'll feel better. But
gotta get in that calorie
it's almost
deficit.
like I'm dumb enough to be content feeling like crap because I don't want to go on the treadmill for 40 minutes. And the treadmill kind of sucks too because you're just staring at the wall.
Yeah, that or your iPad, and it's just.
But even then, like if I
love it.
I've tried to turn on shows that we watch when we're home, but I still, like, the hardest thing about the treadmill too for me is you're constantly looking at the timer. Oh, how much longer do I have left? So like in my mind, I'm like, well, if I just turn on one of these episodes,
Well, you
I
know
know
what? I swear, a treadmill mile is not the same.
it's not.
As a mile.
There's no way. Because yours will track it, that little circle,
Yeah.
and I swear it's not.
There's no way they're the same.
No. Because remember that one day, I'm like, there's no way I went that far. There is no possible way. Because we started talking about it. That would be like going from here to wherever. And I'm like, there's no freaking way.
Or are you thinking on the bike?
No, the treadmill.
Oh, the treadmill?
Because it tracks your distance, right? It says you went this far, and you're just like, no, I didn't. It's not possible.
Oh, right.
I might have went half that, but according to its numbers, that's how far you went. So I don't know. Anyway.
Working out, I'm sure, is something we both need. I would love to get back on that.
Everybody needs it. It's a good thing for everybody to do. It goes back to that personal excellence.
Yeah.
Because like I said, for myself, I know how much better I felt when we were doing that. And so a lot of people, I'm sure, I know I'm not the only one that sits here and thinks I have no energy. I know I'm not the only one. So everybody could use a little get up and go. And like even in the summertime when we were doing 75 hard, we chose to do both of our exercises outside, and we just went for a walk. 45-minute walks is what we did. We kind of had a path down to where it took us 45 minutes to leave the house, go down and get back. But we went down, when we'd go change sprinklers, take the side-by-side down, park it off the highway, and walk up into the field, change the sprinklers, and walk back down. And that kind of stuff, even if it's just something like that, like a lot of people that we know around here, a lot of farming stuff goes on, and everybody rides their four-wheelers or their side-by-sides for everywhere they're going. But just that little bit of just walking up in there and doing your sprinklers, or walking up to turn your water, whatever it is you're doing, even that little bit helps. But you don't ever want to do it, We did it then because we were doing the 75 hard, so we had to do an exercise anyway. But, even during the hunts, we didn't walk an extreme amount, but the amounts that we did in the years past, I probably wouldn't have even went, and this was after 75 hard. We had already finished, but I was still feeling good. My body was still feeling good. So, you remember when we went up here to Guys, and we were going up that hill, and it was slick and muddy and steep.
Steep is an understatement.
And you just couldn't get up, and on one side was a 50-foot drop off, so it just really wasn't worth trying to get up it.
Sticky situation.
So we turned around, went down to the bottom, almost the bottom, parked to where it was level, and walked back up. And I remember telling you when we got up there, I'm like, if this would have been a year ago, I would have said, screw it, we're going to go down and drive around the bottom of the hill and park on the other side, where we're going to ruin the whole hunt because nothing will come in because we're sitting right in the way. But then you're like, yeah, it was even your idea to park it and walk back up to the top. And I've never really been that way. So that's kind of, again, what bugs me about this whole thing is I know the way it made me feel, and I had no issue walking back up to the top. It was a short walk, but it was steep. And, we were a little winded when we got to the top, legs burning a little bit, but I know that, and it makes you even, it's just like a little victory, you're kind of like, all right, yeah, I just walked up here, when knowing in the past I would have never done that. So it's kind of like a little victory, but again, I just got to figure out how to get over that hump and get back into it a little bit at least.
We'll get back at it because I'm in need. So,
you got any more of those questions?
I do. Let me unlock this old phone of yours.
Hopefully this isn't boring for you guys. I was kind of worried about coming into this with no preparation, that it was going to be boring and people would tune out after 10 minutes. So hopefully some of you are still with us and maybe feeling the way that we're feeling about some of these things. And sometimes with the whole exercise thing, sometimes, all the time, we just kind of need a little motivation. And I'm not saying I'm some big motivational type of person that's going to just get you amped up to go exercise, but sometimes all it takes is hearing other people talk about it to kind of help you make the decision to go do it. So hopefully you're still with us and it's not the most boring hour and 1 minute of your life so far.
The most boring ever. Alright, let's see. These are some weird questions, and I think they're more of like not a tongue twister, but just like a cereal soup.
Yeah, I saw that too. Is cereal soup? Who the hell thinks of that?
That's like asking if hot dog is just a sandwich.
What? Is cereal soup? My answer is no, it's not soup.
But what classifies soup as soup?
Not cereal.
Because people eat cold soup.
Yeah.
And there's hot soup. Just like there's hot and cold cereal.
But hot cereal's not cereal. It's like cereal is cereal in a bowl with milk.
Like Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
Sponsor
right.
us.
Cinnamon
Captain
Toast Crunch or
kidding.
I don't know. My answer to that is cereal is not soup. They might be cousins. Maybe distant, but cereal's not soup.
They have different dads or something. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. At what age are children held accountable for their actions?
I saw that one earlier too, and that was one that I thought was stupid.
I was hoping. I was like, he's gonna think this one is terrible. I'm gonna
You got
ask
it. You got it. I did. I read it earlier. I'm like, that's a dumb question.
I'm gonna ask the questions that he definitely doesn't want to answer.
Well, I'll let you answer it first then, since you asked it just for that reason.
I think it depends on what that action is and the age.
Well,
I think both are relevant.
That's the whole question. I mean, I'm glad that you think the action and the age are part of it. That's the whole question.
Super relevant because
Do you need to read that question again to see what it is you're answering? Because your answer was the question.
No, I mean like...
What age do kids need to be held accountable? Well, I really think it depends on the action and the age, I mean...
Oh,
you're welcome, guys. Glad we could help
funny.
you with that one.
I was thinking more along the lines of, okay, like one of our nephews, he knows better than to hit people, but he hits people.
I don't know. If it's the one you're talking about, is he old enough to know better, though?
He's 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5.
He should know. If he can hear the words, don't hit your cousin.
But he's not doing it to try to hurt anybody. You know what I mean?
No. But then
I think at that age, That's, you're still trying to, in my opinion, teach them what's okay to do and what's not okay to do. So for him to be constantly doing that, I don't think he's old enough to know better.
Okay.
Because he's 2.5. And like I said, he's not doing it, he's not mad when he does it. It's not like he's upset at you for something and he comes over and hits you. It's more of like he thinks that's playing. Yeah, he's playing. So I think he's too young still to know better. But if you're talking about a 5 or 6 year old
who is still hitting and pinching,
then I think at that point they should be getting to the age to where they know that that's not, you don't do that. Especially because, well, and then again, at 5 and 6 they're going to hit a little bit harder than 2.5.
Oh yeah.
Not that it's going to hurt, but you know what I mean. Well, an adult, I guess, if they go to another kid, then it could hurt.
I mean, I've been clocked by our kids, both of them. It is not pleasant. So, I don't know. Or even like, we'll go with someone even older of your nieces. She's a teenager. If she were to be caught, I can't even think of something. I don't want to sell myself out of anything I've done.
Let's not open a can we can't close.
Okay. If I snuck out as a teenager, I know better.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they should be accountable. But then where is that line?
Well, when it comes to something like that,
right?
If you're talking about teenage kids that are sneaking out, like if our kids sneak out, there'll be bars on the windows and doors.
Oh my!
Like you're not sneaking out, because I feel like a lot of the times, well, I don't know, because I haven't had teenage kids yet, so maybe not, but I would hope that when we do get to that point, I know it's not going to happen because teenagers don't do this, but I would hope that instead of sneaking out, just come and talk to me, because I think a lot of times kids sneak out because they just, like, I thought about it when I was younger because I had a curfew. I was one of very few of my friends that had one. And it sucked, you know. We would just be hanging out at the school parking lot, like literally just sitting there on the tailgates, just hanging out talking. We weren't drinking, we weren't making a bunch of noise, we didn't have music blasting. We would just sit in the parking lot. Well, I would have to go home, and it would piss me off because I'm like, oh, I want to, and it was like summer, right? So it's not like we had to get up for school the next day. But I just wanted to hang out. And so I was like, I should just freaking crawl out my window. But I also knew the wrath that would come down if I did, so it really wasn't worth it. But I feel like, I think about it now, and I wonder if I would have went to my parents and been like, hey, like, I get it. You want me to have a curfew? Everybody always says nothing good ever happens after midnight. Well, I was out after midnight several times. I have been as an adult, you know. Been a lot of good that's happened after midnight. A lot of good times, you know, just
this podcast,
laughing and freak. It's
midnight.
1 o'clock in the morning, and what in the hell are we doing up here doing this podcast? It's not like we had all day to do it. But I would hope that, you know, or I guess what I was saying is, I wonder if I would have went to my parents and said, hey, I know this is my curfew. Like, this is seriously all we're doing. Everybody's still kind of over there just chatting, just kind of hanging out. Can I just go back for like another hour or something, you know? I wonder if they would have let me. Like I said, I never snuck out. Never once did I ever sneak out. But I would hope that with our kids, when they get to that point, and I think sometimes too, like, you know, you don't know all of it, but I think you can get it, and maybe this will hit me like a train when my kids are teenagers. Maybe I'm talking out of my backside here. I don't know. But it seems like you can tell what kind of stuff kids are doing. And if it's stuff they shouldn't be doing, or something that might lead to something they shouldn't be doing. But if...
I fear we're going to be hit by a train.
That's what I'm saying. I think by me saying, and there's people probably that's going to listen to this that have teenagers, and they're probably thinking, dude, you have no idea what's coming.
Laughing.
And I'm sure you're probably right. But
I was a teenager once. I know what I did. I know what I was capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends. I know I had bad friends and good friends.
Well, see, and I had some of the people that I hung out with when I was younger and in high school and stuff, most of them were older than me. You know, some of them were over 21, so they were of drinking age. And there was a lot of times whether we were at the school parking lot, or if they were drinking, we usually didn't sit in the school parking lot, 'cause that's not somewhere you sit and drink, but we would go on what we called roadies. And, you know, because up here we have Log Hollow, Blind Stream, we have all these places, West Fork, that we can go. So I was always the driver. Not always, but I would go and, you know, sometimes drive, or even if I didn't drive, just kind of ride around. I'm not saying I was perfect, because I wasn't. But I guess, I don't know, it kind of depends on what the kids are doing, I guess, you know, but as teenagers, well, and even as adults, when we're told that we can't do something, how much more do we want to do it?
You can bet your butt it's going to happen.
Doesn't matter what it is. It's going to happen, or you're going to try to make it happen.
Or the pure opposite.
And so I feel like, you know, at that point, or with that being said, I think all we can do is, and again, we're still young into this. Our kids are only 9 and 11.
Yeah.
So we still have a lot to learn and a lot coming our way. But I think even still, you know, for all of us, all we can do is teach our kids right from wrong. You know, like even some of the stuff that I did in high school and stuff, there's some of it, or something I was doing, I knew that I shouldn't be doing, or I knew that was wrong, and it not wrong and causing harm or anything like that, but I knew it wasn't right. But we all make these decisions where we do things that we know aren't right, but we're thinking, it's going to be all right this time, you know. But people are going to do that. It doesn't matter who the person is, where they were raised, who they were raised by. There's going to be something they're going to do that they know or they've been taught is something they shouldn't do. But I think if we can just kind of try to teach our kids right from wrong, and, you know, explain to them, like, hey, this is the kind of stuff that can happen if you go down this path, or, you know what I mean? Like, after that, it's kind of, the only other thing you could do is every time they leave the house, you go with them.
No.
And nobody's going to do that. You want your kids to be able to have a life. You want them to be able to have this high school experience that they're going to have. And, you know, I didn't go to college. I had no desire to go to college. So my high school years, I freaking loved them. Like, I had a lot of fun in high school. Whether it was sports or these hangouts like I was telling you. And so I want my kids to have that same type of thing. You know, I want them to be able to go and hang out and do whatever it is, you know, they do with their friends and whatever. But we kind of talked about something a couple weeks ago when we tried this. One of the questions had something to do with trust. And we had mentioned that in a relationship, like in a marriage, you know, like with us,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure there's a lot like this too, but with us, trust is everything. You know, if you can't trust who you're with, I don't think you can really be happy. And if someone has the magic trick or secret to be able to trust everything that your kids are going to do, or to trust that they're going to keep their nose clean and, you know, do what they're supposed to do, then I'm sure we'd all love for you to fill us in on that. But kids are going to do what kids are going to do. You know, we all did probably the same things. Like, do you remember when, so my dad used to tell me all the time when I was younger, I'm talking high school younger, he used to always tell me, you need to learn when to shut your mouth, because it's not that I always had to have the last word, and my dad probably thinks that I did have to, and maybe that's, but in my mind, that's not what I was trying to achieve. I didn't always have to have the last word. I just wasn't going to let people walk all over me. Like, especially in basketball. That was where my passion was. So, if somebody was trash talking or just being flat out rude, like, I wouldn't just sit there and take it, But Boston now, and I'm going to say that he thinks he has to have the last word. So maybe that was my mentality then. Maybe it was. But I remember telling my dad, it's been a few months ago, I was like, I actually called him for this, I think, for this specific reason. It seems like I called him. Or maybe I was already on the phone with him, and anyway, but I was like, I just want to let you know that I am now living what I put you through. And he says, what do you mean? And I said, Boston, well, my dad always used to tell me you'd argue with a fence post.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I feel like Boston would argue with a fence post sometimes. And he just laughed. And I was like, I just wanted you to know. Like, yeah, you're welcome for putting you through that, but now I'm dealing with it too. So I guess that's my karma coming back around.
Karma there. Did you hear him fighting with himself over holding the cards during Phase 10 today?
No.
Just over anything.
That's another thing. This kind of, not that particular thing, but there was a couple times during that game. And it's probably just because they are still young. One of my nephews is this way too. They can, like, if they lose, it's like the whole entire night is over.
Their heart broke.
And I've been trying so hard to figure out how to, like, I keep telling Boston, you have to learn how to lose. You can't win every time. You're not going to win every time, no matter what you're doing. But I see that a lot with kids. And it's anywhere from, our kids' age to even teenagers. Somehow we have to figure out how to teach our kids that it's okay to lose. And I think the way that changed, or when that changed, is when the whole participation trophy thing started to come about. So you remember in Eagle Mountain during soccer, when the kids were playing soccer, and Boston's team, like, they didn't get the medals? I think it was soccer. Maybe it was the basketball league they played in. Anyway, and he was just tore up because he saw the other team getting medal. And I'm like, dude, you didn't win. You don't get a medal, you didn't win. Now, this was probably 4 years ago, so he was probably 5. We'll say he was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And I understand that kids at that age, they don't know, and they didn't go through the participation trophy thing, because they're still so young, but they just don't really understand why you didn't get that medal or why you don't get a trophy or whatever. But in everything else they did get one. And I think that that's made it to why, and even with my nephew, he's not old enough to have to know any different, I guess. But it sucks to watch a kid, like, get mad and throw a fit because they didn't win. And maybe I did that when I was a kid too. I don't know. I very well could have. But I know as I got older, we'll say junior high, for example, when we played basketball. If you lose, like, yeah, you're a little irritated, you're pissed or whatever because you don't want to lose, but I don't ever remember throwing a fit because I lost. And maybe I did, but I don't remember it. But I do remember as a senior at state, we got beat in the championship game. And I didn't realize this at the time, but I guess pretty much everybody had left the building. And I was still in the locker room. And I wasn't throwing a fit. I wasn't, I was hurt because we had played our butts off. We wanted nothing more to win that. And it was like a pit in my stomach that just wouldn't go away. And I kind of didn't really want to face anybody because I felt like, because we had, if not the whole town down there watching us, we had most of them. And it made me feel like I let them down, you know. Let the team down, let myself down, let the town, the community down. But I think, and I'm not saying that was right, you know, maybe I shouldn't have done, I didn't do it on purpose, it was just how I felt. But I remember my cousin, Lindsay, she was the one that kind of had to, I'm pretty sure she was the one that kind of got me out of the locker room, but I didn't want to leave, you know, and I just felt like, even though I did, and I was a senior in high school, I had a lot coming my way, but I felt like I just lost everything. And I think if somebody has that kind of reaction, I don't really see issues with that, because that's not that I can't take losing, that I need to learn how to lose. That's not that. Now, if I was in there slamming locker doors and kicking things around and throwing everything, then yeah, obviously I'm a terrible loser, and that's, to me, is not acceptable. But I'm trying to teach Boston now at, you know, like he's had games where he's like, I didn't even score, I didn't even make a basket, I didn't do, you know, and it's like, dude, it's okay. It's fine. Because I want him to get to when he is in high school, when he does lose, because he's going to, they're not going to win everything. But I want to see kids learn how to lose. Because it teaches you more than just that particular event. You know, like I've told you before that Coach Gines and Jerry Strebel, Coach Strebel, had a big impact on me that went way beyond basketball. You know, they weren't trying to teach me anything other than basketball, but the way they taught things kind of opened the bigger picture to outside of basketball. You know, like certain life lessons and how to handle things and kind of what to expect and everything else. And for me, that was huge because it did help me after school. You know, with certain situations, you get out into the real world and things are different and life punches you in the face, you know. But I guess maybe that's kind of what I'm trying to do is get him to understand. And Brooke, I mean, I'm only mentioning Boston, but Brooke really isn't that emotional in that way if her team loses or something, you know. Like she says, like, well, it sucks, we wanted to win and everything, but Boston's,
he really wears
he's
his
to that
heart
to where he
honestly.
gets so worked up that he'll start crying and he just gets so upset. And but I'm just trying to figure out how my coaches taught me how to handle it and learn from it instead of stew over it and throw a fit, you know. So I don't know, I feel like I just went off on a whole tangent there that didn't even make any sense. In my head it made perfect sense, so I don't know how it came across. Maybe it was a bunch of gibberish that nobody will understand or whatever, but
I mean, well, we won't be able to go backwards or anything, but the original question is, what age are kids accountable for their actions?
well, even
When
though
we
you
ended up
answered the
there.
question with the question, I think that's kind of right. It just kind of depends on what it is, you know.
Yeah, and the age. Both are relevant here. Yeah, because if I see a 2.5-year-old hitting, and then a 16-year-old hitting as well.
Yeah, see, that's
Obviously.
that's different. That's this, you know, there should be consequences for the 16-year-old and maybe not so much for, I mean, maybe, I don't know if consequence is the right word, but obviously, like, every time he does it, his mom or dad is always like, hey, you can't do that, you know. So they're teaching him, but at 16, you know, you don't do that. So
Yeah.
maybe there's where some consequences should come into place,
Yeah.
or held accountable, whatever it was.
Accountable. Right. Accountable for their actions. Well, let's see.
Do you want to do one more, or
Let's see. It is 1:24 at night.
well, it's up to you? We can do one more, or we can wrap it up, whatever you want to do.
I guess this kind of goes with the same tune as the rest of the questions. We kind of already asked ourselves it, but I'll just ask it one more time. Is honesty always the best policy?
Well, let's. How about you pick another one? Because that's
Okay.
pretty much what our whole thing has been about.
Okay, I like this one.
Find a whole different.
If you could tell yourself, your younger self, one thing, what would it be?
Can we get another
To
one?
be honest.
I don't like that one either.
I like my answer.
What? To be honest,
Yeah.
that's an
obviously.
easy. That's an easy way out.
Where?
Not like I have anything better.
At least I had an answer.
Yeah, you're right.
Instead of next question.
Go to like a whole different. Is there like a whole different section that's on something like literally completely different?
There's funny, thought-provoking questions.
Let's pick one out of there. Something funny to end it on.
All right. If animals could talk, which would be the rudest?
The rudest? Oh man. There's a lot of animals. Should we maybe do the animals that we're around, like in our area, maybe?
Okay.
'Cause,
So in our area, are we putting wildlife?
well, yeah, they're
Okay.
animals.
I just wanted to clarify, unless we were just doing domesticated animals, like our animals.
No, our animals wouldn't be rude. Obnoxious, but I don't think they'd be rude.
There's one chicken. She is so mean.
That one chicken, she would be such a raunch.
She pecks me. Anywho, I would say birds.
Birds?
Yep.
Birds are rude, even though they don't talk.
Yeah, they just poop on you and take off.
I can deal with that. That happened to me at work, remember?
Oh yeah.
When I was standing there getting fuel in the truck and all of a sudden something hits my shoulder and I look up and there's a bird flying.
I would be so
I was
pissed.
like, are you kidding me? First time that's ever happened to me. But no, when you're hunting, I will die thinking this way. Those freaking birds tell the deer or the elk, hey, there's something up here.
The magpies.
Maybe you want to go the other way tonight because something's not right up here. Because you could sit a mile away and glass and you won't see a bird in the sky. You can walk up to that spot and get set up and it's like all of a sudden a migration of birds come up and just squawking and flying and circling, and you know damn well they're telling everything that you're there.
Nature's alarm.
It's stupid. So birds are rude.
But you gotta make friends with them.
But why did you pick birds?
Because they poop on you and they take off. That's
your
literally why I
reason.
chose it.
It's asking if they could talk, not what they do that makes them rude.
Well, that's what they do now and they don't need to talk.
Okay.
What would you choose? Can't copy.
I would say birds, probably.
You can't copy.
Maybe I'm trying to think of an animal that's like maybe like a badger.
I've heard they don't really care.
Yeah, so they'd probably be pretty rude.
Yeah.
They're mean.
Yeah, they don't care about your feelings.
Or maybe like a bear. Like I'm trying to think of something that's like aggressive without talking. So if they could talk, they'd probably just make you feel like a pile of crap.
Like an ostrich, maybe.
Yeah, maybe we don't have those here though.
No, but mostly at the petting zoos. The zoo.
Yeah. Didn't they get rid of the animals at the zoo?
What?
Most of them? Remember, we took the kids on that little train ride the last time we was there and half the animals were gone. They still had some.
I wonder if it was under construction.
Well, no, because even you were like, well, would you want to just stand on concrete all day?
Oh, that was lagoons.
Oh, that was Lagoon? Oh, yeah, not the
Lagoons.
zoo. Yeah. Yeah, not the... Sorry, people, the zoo still has animals. Yeah.
I was like, what happened
Maybe-
to Hogel?
Maybe this is the 1:30 that's coming out in me. 1:30 in the morning. Yes, that was Lagoon. My bad.
We're going to continue to always...
Can you imagine going to the zoo and there's no animals? Like, what the hell are we doing here? It's got to be a better place we could be.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one saying stupid things
Yeah, that
this
was
time.
definitely Lagoon that I was thinking of.
It's like, were they under construction? Oh,
All right, let's go to bed. It's 1:30 in the morning. Now I'm starting to sound even more dumb than I did the previous hour and 30 minutes. So,
All right,
well, I'm glad you talked me, kind of like 75 Hard talked me into doing this, because I wanted to, but I didn't know what to talk about. I didn't want to be boring, and maybe we were boring, but
someone's out there. We have a fan club, and I know it.
Yeah.
It's either going to be haters or lovers. Either way, they're fans.
either way, they're fans. Right?
Any publicity is great.
Well, I do have nothing set in stone for next week, but I do have a couple of guests that'll be coming on that I think will be pretty fun.
I'm really excited for one of them.
Yeah, I can probably just say it. Monty Nay has agreed to come on here with me, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. When I asked him, he's like, "Oh, I'm not very interesting." I'm like, "Are you kidding me, dude? You're the funniest guy in this town, by far."
And that's just his person.
And everybody loves Monty, so
he's fun.
I'm pretty excited to do that one. That'll be in a couple of weeks, as long as his schedule allows it. As of right now, it should work out, but if that changes, then it changes. But he's got to be an officer of the law, so I can't get in the middle of that. So, but anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. If you did, I appreciate it. Spread the word that we're doing this. Like I've said before, I wanted to do it forever, and I have been having a lot of fun, especially tonight, watching my computer actually upload it instead of constantly telling me that my recording has stopped. And because that, I was kind of, to be honest with you, was kind of losing motivation to do it every time the internet would kick me out. In fact, I told you, I'm like, if they don't get this fixed, I'm going to lose all the drive to even do this. So I'm glad it's working, because it is a lot of fun, even if we sound like idiots and talk about stuff that maybe no one even cares about. But
say the dumbest things on the face
well,
of this planet.
you know what's hard though, real quick before we end?
Yeah.
The podcasts that I have listened to in the past, 95% of what they talk about are the issues going on in the country and the world. And so when you think about, okay, I'm doing a podcast, what do podcasters talk about? Well, that's what they talk about. So it's kind of hard to, like, this is actually harder than you would think it would be. I mean, if you have, I can't imagine trying to sit here by myself. I probably would fail. Nobody would want to listen to me just talk to myself.
I would be a loyal listener. What are you talking about?
You're a loyal listener every day. You don't have a choice.
I would subscribe and like and share and hop in.
Podcast or no podcast, you don't have a choice. You listen every day, so.
I don't mind.
But no, it is. It's a little harder than even I thought it would be. Because it is tough to find things to talk about, because obviously I want you guys to listen. That's kind of the main reason I'm doing it, But like even Dally and I said on our sports podcast, well, I guess if no one listens, at least we have fun doing it, which is very true. But it's also cool to know that people do listen. Like I said, I've had people message me and tell me that they liked the episode, and people asking why there wasn't one last week. So that's pretty cool, because we've only done this as number 3 now. So that's pretty cool, and it makes me feel like this is something that I really do want to do, because there is a little bit of engagement. So, but anyway,
exciting to see you do it.
It's what?
Exciting to see you do it.
Yeah, well, it's been fun so far, and hopefully this is something that I can do for a long, long time. But there will have to be some returning guests.
AKA me?
Yeah, you're probably going to be on here quite a bit. It's funny, I've asked a few people, and they've all said the same thing. Oh, I'm not very good with stuff like that. And I'm like, well, how do you know? You've never done it. Well, I'm nervous. Well, dude, I'm nervous every time I turn it on. Like,
I was so
Yeah, like
scared
it's
that first one.
I'm nervous every single time I turn it on, and Dally and I have done what 4 on the sports one, and now 3 on this one, maybe 5 on the sports, 4 or 5, 4 I
Yeah.
think. But like I tell them, it's not that bad. Within 5 minutes, you're not even thinking about it anymore, and you're just kind of chatting. So, but yeah, so you might be on here more, because if people are too scared to come on here and chat with me, then you're.
But people, it's really not that bad.
No, it's not.
It's
Well,
out
you
of my
even said
comfort zone.
before I even started this, you're like, I don't really want to be on it,
I'm not a talker.
you know. And then when you came on it the first time, like, I'll do this again. So it's really not that bad. But I'm not gonna beg people either, you know. I think it's fun to have, like when I had Dallas come on, that was a blast.
That was a really good listen.
I guess so. It's been you, Dallas, and you.
Yes.
So yeah, I only had one, but it was fun, and I think it is cool. Like even when Dally and I sit here on the Sportsman's, like we have Sportsman's, the sports one. We have a lot of fun doing it. So, and even on that one, you know, people are engaged. We've had, I had a player from Manila comment on there to kind of fill us in on some stuff that we weren't able to find. So that, I mean, it's cool to have that kind of stuff. So anyway, hopefully I can get some more people to come up here and chat with me for a little bit, and hopefully here in the near future we have an actual I feel dumb even saying it, but I don't know what else you call it, but a studio, a little shed. Hopefully we've got one of those built here pretty quick, so we have a little bit better setup. But again, just thanks guys, I appreciate it. It's fun for me to come on here and just kind of ramble, so hopefully you guys enjoy it, and please share it, spread the word, because it is a lot more fun to do it knowing that some people are listening. And I can't really explain why. It's not like I'm some big time important person, but does make it a little more fun to know that some people actually do listen. So thank you, and I'll try to be a little more prepared for next week. And if I can't convince anyone to come in, then it'll be us again, which is fine. I'm totally fine with that. So we'll see what next week brings, but until then, thank you, and we'll see you then.